Located on the coast, Cross River, like most Niger Delta states, is a natural investment destination. Its access to the sea led to the establishment of a ports authority and later the Calabar Free Trade Zone. Several industrialists had moved in huge investment, hoping that a fully active port would facilitate production and export.
We had thought that the government would have gotten it dredged right from then to enable bigger ships to come in and all that. So it's been a bit of a problem.
So many production firms have shut down operations, he tells me, largely due to high cost of production.
Something really needs to be done about it. The major infrastructure that ought to be there are not there. The contract has been signed, awarded. It is not even the state government that's going to spend the money. The federal government has already approved and mobilized. So all we need is get the contractor for whatever reason, whatever may do, let them commence work.
Delivering and lifting of petroleum products appear the only major business activity left here. Well, to my left is the Nigerian Port Authority, while to my right you have the Calabar Free Trade Zone. Now, ordinarily you would expect this area to be a beehive of commercial activities, but like an abandoned town, it is only quiet and deserted. The traditional monarch of the city, the Obong of Calabar, is worried that the non-funding of the dredging of the port after the federal government had entered into a concessioning agreement with the Calabar Channel Management Company for the capital dredging and maintenance has put a dark cloud over the economic fortune of the state.
It's only the Calabar Channel Management that is not working. It's all intertwined with one problem or the other. And as such, this river is not dredged. And as such, bigger vessels cannot come into the port. Invariably, the Nigerian Ports Authority is just standing there. It's a dead dock. Nothing is happening there.
The Obong, like many in the state, feel abandoned due to their minority status and have advised against playing politics with the project.
The projection of the Calabar Ports Authority, the building of that port, was to open up the eastern flank of the country from Maiduguri. The whole of the northeast were supposed to make use of this port, but nothing happened. Politically, people are sitting on us as if we don't exist. It's not something that is good for us. We should think about it.
These dredging vessels from Royal Boscalis, working with Westminster, acquired by the Calabar Channel Management Company, had commenced work in 2014 before non-funding halted dredging activities in 2015 under intriguing circumstances. This, the governor says, has somewhat affected the industrialization drive of the state.
Remember that they did a concession, and the concessionaire is holding on and looking up to government to maintain the spirit of the concession, which federal government had said they were going to do the dredging. And so he is not investing because he's waiting on federal government to honor her obligation. Federal government has awarded a contract for the dredging to commence. We expect also that federal government will continue with this dredging. And the MD was here and we spoke extensively about it. And I believe that in no distant time, I'm sure this dredging will restart.
The national president of Nasima, Edembasi, and the chairman of the state's branch, Efa Imoke, say the strategic support of the federal government to states in commerce and industry is essential to its much talked about economic diversification drive.
Cross River State, Calabar Seaport, whichever one of them you're looking at, would be within 3 hours of 6 major cities in the southern part of Nigeria. I don't need to tell you what the numbers are because some of those cities would include Onitsha and Aba. Just those two alone have incredible population sizes, but also great markets for not just the region, not just for Nigeria, but also for West Africa. And so an effective or a working seaport in Calabar stands to be benefited from not just by Cross River, but from Nigeria as a whole.
If we get to a stage where that is done, my God, the economy of this state will flourish. There's no point people going from Aba to Lagos to go and get their goods. They can do it here in Calabar. The few period, during Donald Duke's time, the few period that the Calabar port worked, we saw the businesses that went on. Crime came down because youth were able to go to the port to do some work.
Our plantations, our banana plantations, our farmlands, and all these things we cultivate around the north and central part Cross River State. They need to move. And it is this small port, this Calabar Port, that is supposed to be the recipient port for onward evacuation into the main port that we're proposing to build. And so it is critical, it is urgent, it is imperative, it is good for Cross River State to have the federal government dredge the Calabar Port.
A resumption of dredging of the Calabar Port will ensure the region stands to take full advantage of its location on the coast, and perhaps the quality of life of the locals, some just content with tending to tiny catch of fishes in their small dugout canoes, might just change for the better. Utabo Moran, ERT News, Calabar.